Anchors away. Learning target. I can understand the anchor standards and how they are scaffolded.
Kathy, what's an anchor standard?
It's great that you should ask, Alana. But before we get started, I'd really like to bring your attention to the double entry journal that you're going to be using throughout the introductory module. Capture your thoughts as we go along. The Common Core Learning Standards for each grade correspond to the anchor standards, which span grades 6-12. Basically, the anchor standards present the broad outline for learning, and then the standards for each grade level provide the specific details for what is expected within the standard of learning for that particular grade level. Here comes your double entry journal, Alana. If you could capture your thoughts on what an anchor standard is, I'll check back with your thinking in just a minute.
All right, thanks, Kathy.
Okay, Alana, I'm going to check with you on what your thoughts are, but if you need to pause the recording at any time to finish your thoughts, go right ahead.
Okay, Kathy, I think I'm all set. I think the anchor standards, if I'm reading this correctly, mean that there are these broad statements of learning, and under each grade level they specifically tell you what the specific learning is for that grade level. So I should be very mindful of my grade level because the statement is very broad and doesn't give me much information, but if I look at my grade level, it's going to be very specific about what the student should be able to do by the end of the year.
Great, Alana. The Common Core Standards document gives you an anchor standards for reading, writing, speaking and listening, and language. You can find these on pages 45, 54, 61, and 65. But we have also excerpted them here and include them in the files available to you for download if you wish to keep a copy for your handy reference, along with the double entry journal. Here's an example, Alana, of an anchor standard. Anchor standard number 1 for reading concerns key ideas and details. Read closely to determine what the text says explicitly to make logical inferences from it. Cite specific textual evidence when writing or speaking to support conclusions drawn from the text. For grade 8 students, standard 1 for reading specifics, what grade 8 students are expected to master within this standard. Number 1, cite the textual evidence that most strongly supports an analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as the references drawn from the text. There's a lot there, Alana. Go ahead, take your anchor standard number 1 and use your double entry journal to capture your thoughts from that passage.
All right.
Again, if you need to pause to add more, go right ahead. If you're ready, please tell me what you think your thoughts were through that process.
So Kathy, what I'm thinking is now my student should be able to go back to the text, find the evidence that supports the inferences that they've made from that text. So they have to go back, and if they've inferred something about a character, what's the evidence that supports that inference?
Good job, Alana. Let's move on to anchor standard number 9 for reading concerns, integration of knowledge and ideas. Number 9 states that we should analyze how 2 or more texts address similar themes or topics in order to build knowledge or to compare the approaches the authors take. The grade 8 expectation for the reading standard number 9 is way more detailed. Number 9 states, analyze how a modern work of fiction draws on themes, patterns of events, or character types from myths, traditional stories, or religious works such as the Bible, including describing how the material is rendered new. A lot more to think about. Go ahead and take that double entry journal and jot down your thoughts or wonders, and I'll check back with you and your thinking. Okay, Alana, would you like to share your journal entry?
I would. Okay, so this one, like you said, there's a lot more here. So my students have to analyze a work of fiction. Okay, and in their analysis, they're looking at either themes or patterns of event or character types. And they're looking at specific types of writing like myths or stories or religious works. So that's a lot of information that they're trying to put together and analyze. And that's a much higher level thinking skill for students.
That's a great noticing, and I appreciate your thought process on that using the double entry journal. So as you plan and design lessons for your students, Alana, to meet grade level standards, it's good to be aware of the underlying anchors that provide the foundation for all learning standards.